You've been studying the successful videos, the topic, the format, the idea, and your version still doesn't land the same way. So you watch more and you study more, and you still can't figure out why. Here's what I figured out. The idea didn't make that video work on its own. The architecture underneath it did. Every line has a job. Every section was built in a specific order for a specific reason. And none of that is visible just from watching. Many creators spend years consuming content and never see it. Not because they're not smart enough, because nobody showed them it was there. That changes today. The ability to look at a successful video and see exactly why it worked, that's one of the most valuable skills you can develop as a creator. Every creator who has ever gotten good at this studied the work of people ahead of them, deliberately and systematically. The problem is, nobody's showing you how, until now. I spent the last couple of months building and testing what I now call the breakdown engine. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how it works and what you walk away with. The first time I tested this on a real script, I just sat there. Every line was labeled, every decision visible. Open loop, speed to value, setup, belief shift, every single line doing its job, and I could finally see it. This isn't a prompt. It's a complete system built with Claude, memory folders, structured functions, and hundreds of focused instructions, all working together to do one thing, help you see inside any video that's ever worked. Let me show you what I mean. Find a video performing well in your niche, open it, go to the description, and hit show the transcript. It should open up on the right. And that's what we're going to do is we're going to copy this transcript. That's it. It's free. No account, just 4 steps. And we're going to drop that right into the breakdown engine. The first thing the engine gives you is the video at a glance. Not a summary, but exactly what the video really is. The format, the audience, what the viewer arrives believing, and what they leave with. In one paragraph, you understand the entire architecture before you've read a single line of script. And then on the hook, the engine breaks it down into components most creators never think about separately. The title formula, the micro hook, the macro hook, the loop, and the promise. This isn't a good hook or a bad hook. It's a complete diagnosis of every decision that was made the first 30 seconds of work. Then we get down to the thing underneath the thing. The underlying reason people really clicked. And it's one of my favorite parts because the video really isn't about what you think it's about. It's about the specific frustration underneath the topic, the thing the viewer really couldn't articulate or say out loud before they clicked. And now the structure. The engine breaks down every section of the video into its setup, its tension, and its payoff. I'm not going to go through every part, but I want you to see is that every section has all 3. Setup, tension, payoff. Every single one, and now you can see it. And then we go down to the unique angle. The section that asks one question, could any creator make this video? And the engine answers it and shows exactly what made this video impossible to separate from this specific creator. The credibility that was earned, not claimed. The anti-advice framing. The crisis story specific enough to be true. This is what separates a video that performs from one that disappears. The engine gives you what worked and what needed work. Not general feedback, specific craft decisions. What landed? What could have been stronger and why? This is the section most creators never get. An honest diagnostic on a video that already worked. So you know exactly what to keep and what to leave behind when you build your own. And finally, the annotated script. The script word for word with the emotional anchors, the attention lines, the gaps, the setups, and the loops clearly labeled. Every sentence, every decision visible. You're not reading a script anymore, you're reading a blueprint. That's what one video gives you. Now watch what happens when you add a second. Now on this one, I put 2 transcripts into the engine at once. First, it gives me a condensed individual breakdowns of each video. Then it finds the patterns both videos share. And this is where it gets interesting. The 2 different creators, same topics, and the same structural decisions showing up in both independently. That's not coincidence. That's what works. Then it shows you where the 2 videos diverged, what each one did the other did not, and more importantly, what both of them missed. And at the end, it surfaces the gap, the territory neither video claimed. Both videos taught the viewer how to evaluate thumbnails from the outside. Neither gave them the framework for diagnosing why their thumbnails weren't working. That's an opportunity right there in the output. And now we have the creative brief, the strongest title formula for this topic, the recommended hook approach, the format, the structural skeleton, and what to avoid, ready to take into your next session and start building. And there's one more thing the engine can do that I want you to know about. AI has a problem. It's the ultimate yes man. It tells you what you want to hear. The council fixes that. 5 advisors, each looking at your output from a completely different angle. They push back, they argue, and what comes out the other side is the best possible answer. Most creators are working alone. The council means you never have to be. I'm going to dedicate a whole video to this because it deserves it, but I wanted you to know it's there. Now watch what happens when I take everything the engine just learned and apply it to a completely different subject. I'm going to ask the engine to create a brief on a completely different subject, but using this video as the architecture. I'm going to pause while the brief is created. What you're looking at now has nothing to do with the video we just studied. That was about thumbnails. This is about hooks. It's a different topic, different angle, and a different video entirely. But look at the structure underneath it. The same architecture, the same phases, the same diagnostic logic, pulled directly from a video that already proved it works, and rebuilt around a subject that's never been touched. That's not a summary, that's a starting point. Drop this into any AI tonight, and you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a proven blueprint. You just watched something most creators never get to see. Not the topic, not the thumbnail, but the actual decisions underneath the video that made it work. Every line with a purpose. Every section built in a specific order. The invisible made visible. And that hunger, that need to understand why successful videos work the way they do, every serious creator feels it. The difference is now, you don't have to guess anymore. And here's what that actually unlocks. First, the architecture you just learned to see doesn't belong to that video or any niche. You can drop in videos from any topic, yours or completely unrelated, and the structural lessons do transfer. What made a cooking video work can teach you something about your next tech video. The skeleton travels. And the more videos you run through the engine, the faster your eye gets, you start seeing structure in real time, even without the engine. It's not just giving you a deliverable, it's building a skill. And before you invest hours writing a script on a new topic, run the top videos on that subject through the engine first. Know what you're walking into. Know what's already been done. Know where the gaps are before you even start. And knowing this, having that peace of mind, seeing the gaps and the points every successful creator found important enough to include, that alone is worth the time to set it up and learn how to use it correctly. But here's where most creators go wrong with what you just got. They look at that brief and they try to recreate the video they just studied. Same topic, same angle, but their version of it. And they wonder why it still doesn't land the same way. Because they're still copying the surface, just with better tools. And that's not what this is for. You're not taking their video. You're taking what it taught you, the structure, the decisions, the architecture that made it work, and you apply that to your own subject, with your own angle and with your own voice. I've been inspired by videos I wish I had made. That feeling is real. But there's a line between being inspired by something and becoming a version of it. And here's what I believe. Every creator has something inside them worth sharing that belongs to no one else. The ones who copy, and there are a lot of them, are leaving that on the table. Not because they can't do it, but because it's easier to be a version of someone else than it is to figure out who you actually are. Modeling isn't the easy path, but it's the honest one. And the difference between a creator who lasts and one who gives up and disappears is the ability to love what you do. And here's what makes this even more powerful. The brief doesn't just show you what worked, it shows you what was missing. Run 2 or 3 of the top videos on your topic through the engine, and the gaps start to surface. The territory nobody claimed, that's not just interesting. That's your next video idea sitting right there in the output. So now you have the architecture of what worked. You have the gaps nobody filled. You have a complete brief you can take to any AI and begin building from there. or take it in a completely different direction. Different subject, different angle, built on the same architecture that already proved it works. You're not starting from a blank page anymore. You're starting from intelligence. The brief gives you the shape of what goes where, how it needs to be built, but what you fill it with is yours. Your experience, your perspective, the things only you can say. And that's what makes it your video. And once you learn this, it's yours. It can never be taken away. Do you feel it? That shift from watching other people's videos and wondering why they worked to actually being able to see it? You came into this video not knowing what was underneath a successful video. You're leaving with a system that shows you in minutes what you can do tonight. Everything you just watched, you can have it running right away. In the description, you'll find a link to download the complete breakdown engine. You get the PDF instruction guide, all the files for the memory folder, and the full setup instructions. 20 minutes to install, ready to use on any video right away. And if this is the kind of thinking you've been looking for, hit subscribe. The breakdown engine is number 3 of 9 engines we're building for this channel. Every single one free, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. And now you have the intelligence. You know what made those videos work, and you know where your gap is. The next step is building the hook that gets people watching your videos in the first place. That's exactly what we cover next. And if you thought this was useful, that one is going to change how you think about the first 5 seconds of every video you ever make.